Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Triple B Experience. We're going live this evening because usually when I do these one-on-ones, we go and record it and we just get them out there. But tonight I'm doing something different because I'm spreading this out to the masses, and we're hopefully on Facebook. You guys can have some comments and questions will be answered because I have a special guest this evening, and he's going to talk about doing something great here on August 24th. He is a wrestler. He is a trainer. He is a referee. He's a businessman. He's a family man, but he's a brother. I welcome to the Triple B Experience, Bobby Piskor, otherwise known as Robert Parker William, otherwise known as Potter in the wrestling business.
Hey, man. Tonight, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, it's an honor to have you come on and talk about this event that you got and you're going to be putting out here on August 24th. And I figured, you know what, when I saw you a couple weeks ago and I asked you and you're like, hey, Bubba, and I'm like, you know what, hey, Potter, let's do this when you can. And, you know, we're going to get in deep about what this event is all about. So, how do you want to explain the event first off?
So,
where's it going to be located?
So we'll start off here on August 24th. It's going to be at the Homeville Fire Hall. It's 3900 Green Springs Avenue in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. We're going to be hosting a special Comicon in memory of my brother, Ed Piskor. My brother was a fantastic artist, very well known, extremely decorated.
Yes.
Many awards and future awards pending. Comic historian, a fellow YouTuber. I mean, he was a jack of all trades, and
he was a social media, pretty much a social media icon in a lot of different pulp culture genres.
Absolutely. I mean, he built a community of comic fans, brought them closer together with his knowledge on the history of comics, artists, different types of comics. I mean, he was an inspiration to so many people. And, tragically, he passed away on April 1st. So our family wanted to keep his legacy alive, and we developed the Ed Piskor legacy. So we've just been hosting events to spread the power of positivity. And this event is exactly what this event is exactly what we're trying to do. Bring people together. My brother had a knack for helping out the younger comic generation. So we'll have a lot of underground comic artists, some higher profile comic artists, and everybody in between coming to vend at this event and shill their books and spread the message of read more comics, make more comics.
I heard that is the message because I think that's on his cartoon kayfabe. That was what him and Jim always said. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. That is their message, and they definitely rallied the troops. And the amount of support that our family has been met with has been overwhelming, to say the least. It's been so wonderful and so tremendous. Everybody that's lending an ear, helping us, just pick up the pieces and grieve when we need to grieve, and shower us with some phenomenal fan art. I have lots of cool fan art hanging on my walls at home, and I'll forever cherish those. They're just wonderful.
Well, in the comic book world, And the reason why, I mean, I even have stuff of your brother, and I respected him because I am a fellow comic book advocate collector. So I mean, it's a different type of pulp culture. It's your life. And before, when we were talking in the green room, you're like, Bubba, you should see all this stuff and all. And I said, it's probably going to be turned into a museum because he's got me beat like, 10 lifetimes.
See, so like growing up as kids, my dad was such a hustler in his earlier years. And I mean, he knew how to bargain and talk to people. Like, he definitely should have been an entrepreneur when he was younger, because I mean, the dude was smooth. And we would go to flea markets. I obviously loved wrestling. I loved sports cards. So like, I would always be on the hunt for cards and wrestling figures, while my brother was always on the hunt for comic
books.
and my dad, he would always find like these people that didn't know what they had. And we'd come up to a table and there'd be a guy with a long box full of comics and be like, "Hey, I'll give you $15 for that box." And the guy's
no
like,
way.
Okay. And he
my gosh,
carry it off to the car. So that's how the obsession really started for him, and obviously for me too. Hey, how much for those wrestling figures? All right, I'll give you $20 for the box. Okay, here you go. Or this series of baseball cards.
So your dad was a hustler, man. That's where you got it.
He really was, man. He knew how to play the game.
Wow, that's a good story. And like when your dad bought all the comic books for your brother, did he start reading them and then he started drawing? Is that how he got his love for drawing, or he had that before that?
He had that way before that. Like my mom's a very talented artist, and X-Men Grand Design, there is a page towards the end. I wish I had one handy, or
I wish I had mine handy too, because it's in my collection too. So it's good stuff.
There is a side-by-side drawing that my mom and my brother had done when they in like the 90s, and it was like a comparison, who drew it better. And we did a little Instagram live shortly after my brother passed away, and we put out the contest, who drew it better, my mom or my brother. And that was like the joke for that weekend, was who did draw it better. But my mom's a fantastic artist, and from the time my brother could hold a crayon, he was already drawing.
Wow.
So my parents.
Did he ever have to look, Potter, at the comic book, or he just drew it just from repetition and memory? Because some people have that different type of. He just
had the eye for drawing. I don't remember seeing him ever like set something up and to draw it. It was always just like him just drawing. But like, even as a kid, like my parents really encouraged him so much. Like, we lived in a house with my grandparents. It would be my dad's parents, and we had the top 2 floors of the house. So my brother and I's room was in the attic, and my parents were so cool. They let him draw on the walls. Only him, because he could draw. I wasn't allowed because I couldn't draw.
That's not fair.
But yeah, no, he had drawings on our walls, like in our bedroom. So like, I mean, they really encouraged. They put him in all kinds of different classes. The schools were pushing him to take up art, and he was fascinated with it and just took the ball and just ran with it.
Now, what was his early stuff? Because I do have some stuff written down. Like, did he ever like show you stuff and he's like, "Hey, Bobby, I got this stuff that you think it's good enough to get it published," or like how did that work too at a young age? So
he never really like asked my opinion. He was just he played by his own rules. He was always just like, man, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Like one day I'm going to do this. And like one day I'm going to take over the world. And I said, I know you will. Like it's a given. It's just a matter of time. So when my brother was in early high school, he ended up getting really sick and ended up with what's called colitis.
Okay.
It's the opposite of Crohn's. It affects your large intestine. Your like in large intestine like cysts, and like his was such a bad case that his colon actually collapsed. So he was in the hospital for an extended period of time. And in the hospital, and this is something that like he and I had talked about a lot, like later on in life, but like that's where like he really like focused his attention on drawing. He was in a hospital bed with nothing to do, so he would draw. So sketchbook after sketchbook, he would just fill up with like, him full of morphine and all the other kind of medications, would come up with some really sick and twisted like drawings that were pretty badass. And from there, like it just snowballed. Our high school at first didn't want to allow him to get homeschooled because of just his illness. So like we had a fight, like my parents fought for that. Finally got homeschooled, graduated high school, and it was like, all right, where do you want to go to college? And the only place he wanted to go was the Joe Kubert school in New Jersey.
Right.
You had
that's a famous, very famous. If you want to go somewhere and make it in the business of being a comic book artist and stuff like that, that's where you go.
If I remember, I think they only accepted like 200 applicants because it's such a small school.
It's very hard to get into, and it's very hard to actually get through.
Yeah. So he had to fill out like all the requirements. And one of the big things was that he needed to submit 10 pieces of art. So that summer, just banging out pieces of art one after another. And then he ended with a portrait of Joe Kubert. And he did it in like a stipple style. And that's like where like it's all dots. So like all the dots make up the shading. And like it was so incredible. Immediately he got a response. He was accepted. And when we went to the school to move him in, they actually had it framed in the in the school. And he got made fun of for being like a brown noser.
He didn't even he wasn't even in the first day. He didn't even get there a week, and they were already when they found out that he was the one responsible for that, he was called the brown noser. But that just shows his talent. He didn't even make it a year in that school before they kicked him out. Oh, he was probably just a renegade.
They kicked him out, and they told him, they were like, you know what? There's nothing we can teach you.
Really?
That's exactly what happened. So they pulled him in, and they gave him a bunch of information and said, contact these people, keep doing what you're doing, and just keep sending out all your submissions, and best of luck. So that's what he did.
Wow. Do you think that was probably 1 in a million case coming out of that school where they actually said, hey, we can't teach you no more, and they just send you out into the world to try to conquer the comic book world?
It's insane. Like wow. I don't understand how that's even like a thing. Like, hey, we're gonna accept your money, and we're gonna take you to the school, but like we can't teach you anything. It should have been a full refund. Here you go. Here's the keys to the kingdom. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, so that was a double-ended sword. So they kicked him out, but honestly, they kicked him out because they couldn't teach him anymore, and he just do everything on his own.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And
wow, that's crazy.
So here's the timeline of this. He goes to the Kubert school, and I started training for wrestling right around the same time. Yep. So when I'm cutting my teeth, in Joe Perry's gym in Penn Hills, my brother's sharpening his pencils in Dover, New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 roads, and the courses just go like that, but realistically, but they don't go like that. They're like this because the comic book world and the pro wrestling world is pretty much the same.
It really is. There's so many similarities. Like the demographic of fans are pretty much the same. There's a story that we're telling. There's a psychology behind it, and it's art. It's theater. It's drama. It's comedy. It's all of it, and it's so cool. Like how we were pushed to follow our dreams. Like my parents were fantastic in that regard.
God bless them on that.
Yeah, awesome. I'm very thankful that they allowed us to pursue our dreams and push us in the right direction and give us all the support that that they could give.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some parents do not support their kids, and their kids just do what they want to do without the support of their parents. So it's kind of like you're kind of like a wounded bird. You don't have your full wings because you don't have the support of your family. So that is an awesome thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, so when he was out on his own doing his starting to do his own stuff. Now he made his home base in Pittsburgh. Now, did he go anywhere else to travel to draw and stuff like that? Or
so he literally stayed at home. Like, he was a hermit. He didn't go out much. If he did, he went out with one of his friends, and we just terrorized the town. But my parents built him up a little studio in the basement, and then we had one in the garage. So just depending on the temperatures and what season we were in is where he would draw. But like, there's a really cool picture that my sister had shared on. It's our profile photo on the Con Instagram account, but it's a picture that I took of my brother in our garage with him just working. It's like a candid photo of him just sitting in his drawing desk, just sketching away.
Now, when he was sketching at his house and you guys came over, was you guys bothering him, or he would be like talking to you while he's sketching? You know what I mean?
So I mean, we all lived together. We lived with my parents. Like, he still lived at home. I lived at home at the time. That's my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks for popping on.
I wonder if she's got this on for my pops.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully you can hear me.
So, but he does stuff at home. Now, he was drawing at home, and then you guys, your sisters and he would like talk to you, or he goes, "Hey guys, get out of here! I'm drawing. I got to finish this." Or
so my brother and I would hang out at that point. We had like a weird relationship. Like, he was my big brother. He would beat me up and stuff like when we were kids, until one day I would get back at him. Like my dad always said, "Hey, you pick on him enough, one day he's gonna be taller than you, and you're gonna have to watch out." And sure enough, we got into a fist fight. My mom was pregnant with my littlest sister, and that was the last fight we ever got into.
Like, but, just a brotherly fight.
Yeah.
Was you putting wrestling holds on him then?
Believe it or not, he actually would put them on me first.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I want to try out this submission move.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh, that's good.
But no, at that point, like when he started drawing at home, we had the drawing desk in the garage. We had a TV, and I'd go down there and play video games. We'd listen to music together and just BS. We'd just hang out. Like, we'd spend a lot of time together down there, and we'd talk about our dreams and our aspirations, and I just admired his work ethic, and that's the big thing that I take away from like just knowing him so much is like the dude just never stopped. Like, to really make it, you have to go out of your comfort zone and find things that maybe you're not the best at, but you perfect, and you just go out there and just hustle. So like literally for like 3 years straight, I just remember him buying boxes and boxes of like mailers and just printing like little zines, little comics, handmade comics that he would make. And he would just send them out with letters to every publisher, every artist, every person like that he could find an address for. It was just like when we were cutting our teeth in wrestling. You'd make your VHS tape, and you'd send him a photo and your little business card and say, "Hey, I'm free on these dates. I'd like the opportunity." It was the same exact thing. Like, that's the parallels in wrestling and comics. So like that's what he did. He like sent stuff all the time. I mean, he was working just to buy his art supplies and send out his demo tapes essentially. And like eventually he landed his first break, and
what was his first break?
So funny story. A lot of these stories always start the same. My brother worked overnight, like he would draw all night long and sleep during the day. Like, he was a total night owl. It's pretty quiet and peaceful in the Piskor home at that point. So 7 o'clock in the morning, phone rings, Papa P answers, and the guy on the other line is named Harvey Piskor. Harvey is most known for American Splendor.
Yes.
He is a writer from Cleveland, Ohio, and he's got like this crazy, like raspy voice.
He looks grumpy all the time. Like
he looks miserable all the time. And it's Harvey on the phone, and my dad goes up, wakes my brother up, and my brother and I shared a room, and I was sleeping as well. So like I heard the whole interaction. He's like, Ed, some guy named Harvey Piskor is on the phone. And like my last name gets butchered a lot. So it's like really funny that like my dad butchered this guy's last name. But like my brother's like, what? Huh?
He jumped out of bed, didn't he? He jumped out of bed.
For sure. Yeah. He knew exactly who that was. And they talked on the phone for a while. Next thing you know, he gets FedExed a box of you would draw like his pages were like so wild.
They're like small. They were like, I think they were. Yeah.
So like he would send in his like his scripts on like paper, like notebook paper, and like nothing was very formal, and like he would just lay out in like with stick figures, like it was just horrendous. And my brother would have to like decipher this chicken scratch and figure out like what the story was. And, you know, they worked hand in hand together and end up coming out with his first project. It was an American Splendor. It was based off of the American Splendor movie in 2004, I think was
right.
Like his
with Paul Giamatti. I think Paul Giamatti played him.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Yeah.
And then from there, like my brother ended up going to a bunch of book signings and traveled with Harvey for a little bit, doing like all these like interviews. And he would drive out to Harvey's house, and just like Harvey had a room that was like a library, but like only one person could go in at a time because it was so like tightly packed. Like he was a total hoarder, but like with books and magazines and newspapers, like he had like everything in that house. And my brother would go out there, pick his brain, and start learning, you know, the Harvey way. And they formulated a plan, and my brother ended up illustrating several of his stories after that.
Wow, that's amazing. That's huge.
Yeah.
First open, into the field of comic books. And it's an independent, because it was an independent book at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Marvel or DC. And at that time, I don't even know if Image was McFarlane was. I don't know at what time that was, but independents weren't as big as they are now.
Yeah, he was definitely like an underground. Like he followed with the more of the underground scene at that point. And like I know, like he was heavily influenced with like Robert Crumb's style of drawing, and like, you know, he ended up, you know, just kind of like researching everything that Crumb did, and like really like dug into that guy's life. And like a lot of his early stuff, you can see the similarities in the art style for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then he got away from that, and then he got into his own, because, you know, and he broke through with that hip hop. You know,
yeah.
Is that right? Was it right after that, the Hip Hop Family Tree? Right after that?
Right after he did the stuff with Piskor was when he published WYSIWYG. It was like he used to do like a weekly strip on Boing Boing website, and he would do just like this weekly like comic strip about like computer hacking. And
okay, wow.
So yeah, right now, like this book is so hot right now. Like everybody has been reaching out to us and trying to find copies of it, because it's not on the shelf anymore. So when you come to our event on the 24th, we will have plenty of copies of WYSIWYG available.
There you go, people.
Yep. Quick show there. We've been bringing them to all the events that we've been hosting, because that's the hot item right now is finding WYSIWYG, because it was such an underground thing. He published it through Top Shelf, and it was in 2012, I think it is when that came out. So
okay, so when you guys run out, you just gotta keep trying to print them off and stuff so you get them, because you can't keep up with the orders, can you?
So what we have left is what we have.
Oh no.
Yeah. So whatever's left out here is what's left. So, who knows what the future may hold. Never say never, but just like in wrestling, never say never.
Never say never. So the 24th at the Eddie P Comicon, if anybody wanted that, they better get down to that con and get it at that moment, because it might not be there.
Yep, that's very true.
Oh, wow.
Limited copies are still available.
Oh wow, yeah. So yeah, that's it, and all his stuff. Now it's probably, if you didn't have it then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how the printing and distribution goes in comic books. I don't know how that goes. So
I'll tell you this: our family, we're learning so much as we go. Because again, this wasn't my wheelhouse. I was in the wrestling world, and I'm learning so much about comics, about the art community. I mean, it's been overwhelming, and I will say we have such a great support system between our family and our friends and all those that are helping us through this. It's
and the comic book community came and rallied around you and your whole family, just rallied around and took you guys, by the hands and said, hey, this is how, if you guys want to do it, we can help you do stuff like this. And if you guys want to do that, we can do this. And people donating their time for the 24th. It is great. I mean, because it's probably hard to do a wrestling shows like you have done in your past, but to do a Comic-Con, it's a total different ball game.
It really is, because it's like, back when I was paying dues, hanging out flyers. Now I got to do that all over again, and look for sponsors, and go out and measure the hall and make sure that the tables are all like in the right way. I mean, there's so much going on. Like it's a lot, but you know what? Between my sisters, myself, our significant others, our family, our friends, everybody has been just super great in everything that they're doing. I do also want to plug our.
You can plug anything. You can plug anything you want to, brother. Anything.
So we're doing a pre-sale on our T-shirt. So we are doing a special edition Eddie P Con T-shirt. It's available through my wife's website, wonderwitchboutique.com. You can go on there and get the pre-sale going for that. It's going to be pretty cool. We'll be able to have them available for pickup at the event, or we can have them shipped to your house. And there's also
I'll have you give me the links. I'll put them on, and then if you I'll share all your stuff anyway. So if you have it, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, I will have them on my social Facebook page. I'll be sharing as much as I can and doing what I can. And we do have some people in the chat room. Dylan Dean was in the chat room. I don't know if he's still in there. Yeah, he said, two good guys right here. Best wishes, my brothers.
Wow. So here's a fun story. When we were kids, my brother and I used to attend local wrestling in Eastland Mall, and we used to watch and yell and scream at Dylan Dean all the time, and he absolutely hated us. But it's so great now, Dylan's been fantastic. Reconnecting with him over the last several years has been fun. Dylan's a good brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I'd have met him. If me and him would have, met each other 20 years ago, we'd probably both be having big money, because he was great on the mic, and he's just great, and whatever he does. So yeah, he was in the chat room, and and he said he's proud of you for doing this Comic-Con. He said.
Thank you. It's we have our marching orders is we're going to keep this going and keep preaching the power of positivity. And my brother was a very important person, not only to us, but to the world. And the only way we know how to do it is to just go out there and hustle. Well,
you guys are hustling, because it's coming. I mean, it's already there. The lineup that you have is tremendous. And that's a lot of work, just getting all those artists and comic book people, available, because it's a Comic-Con season. So
yeah, it's going to be wild. I mean, the amount of support and the amount of people that are reaching out, like, hey, we're coming. I mean, like, to be honest, I'm worried that this venue's not going to be big enough. But hey, you know
ooh,
what?
that might
This
be
is
a
the
good thing, though. That might be a
Yeah,
good thing, because
yeah.
then next
We're
year you just go
go big or go
bigger.
home. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We're,
So
we're we're starting small to like work out all the bugs, but
right.
like I said, we'll know what works and what doesn't work. It's just like running a wrestling show, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And Dean says, "My services are always here for whatever you guys need." He says.
Much appreciated,
And
Dylan.
then Matt Tressler said family. So we got
Family.
some people in the comments. You know, you guys got comments for Potter. I'll get them to him. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And this is probably no BS, one of the probably the best interviews. I had a lot of interviews, but this is something, because I'm in the comic book world too. So this means something. And whatever I can do to help out is what I can try to do. And it's just something. And the positive stuff, your sisters down there doing the Heroes Con thing was great.
It was so much fun watching it. So my daughter had her dance recital that weekend, so I stayed up here because I'm a father, and I have to be there for my child. She's super important, and it was all about her that weekend. And we end up meeting at my sister's house because my parents were having a little cookout at her house with her in-laws. They're watching their kids, so we all sat around and watched the panel from my sister's house together. So it was really cool to be with my family while watching my family on TV.
Yeah, they both your sisters did a great job, because I watched it today, and and Jim did great, and it's just, it was good. So.
I will say, I'll put this on the record, that I'm super happy that Jim got back out and went back to work. I know this has been extremely difficult on him. Mm-hmm. And I met with Jim a few weeks ago, and it was a very emotional time because I hadn't seen him since my brother's funeral. So it was really nice to sit down and just talk with him for a little while. And, we were only supposed to meet for an hour, and we ended up meeting for 3 hours.
That's just the way it goes sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like one of those things, like, just when we were about done, we'd get off on another tangent. But like, Jim's been absolutely fantastic with everything. And there's so much love that we have for Jim. I
think he's great. I personally, I think he's great. I met him one time when he was doing the Hulk Grand Design. Mm-hmm. And he signed autographs, and I talked to him, and he come on, and I interviewed him on this show. And I have the utmost respect for him, because he didn't know me from Adam, and just talked to comic books, and I'm a Hulk guy, and he didn't have to come on, and he did. And I always appreciate that. So he hats off to him. I can't speak, I can't speak highly enough of him, because he didn't have to do that. And he did that for a guy he didn't even know.
For sure. Jim's he's just a class act. And when I was wrestling for Rise at the time, my brother, Jim, and Tom would all hop in my car with me, and we would go up to the event, because my brother was working on a secret project at that point. This was in between Hip Hop and X-Men, where he was going to be working on a story on wrestling, and it was going to be through like several different artists. They were all going.
So was you one of the characters? Maybe
I was. So
nice.
He was going to revitalize my Mantis character.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. So we were gonna work on like a little story together, and I was gonna have a lot of input in like the inner workings of like how the wrestling business works. So he would come with me and get to see everything behind the scenes, because again, like, he was a wrestling fan, so he never got to see behind the curtain. So I would bring him along with me when he had a free weekend. So
pull it back a little bit, pull the curtain back a little bit.
Yep. Let him come in behind the scenes. He would see like, the locker room setting. He literally came with a notebook. Him and Jim both had notes on everything that was going on.
Was he sketching? Was he sketching in the back?
I don't know, because like I was doing my thing, he was doing his. I know that he definitely took a lot of like physical notes, but I'm imagining that he was drawing, because you couldn't go anywhere without him drawing something. So,
Right.
and then the car ride home, he would pick my brain on the match that I had, why I did certain things in the match, and we would like literally pick it apart. And then when I would get the film, we'd watch it back together, and I would be able to like explain things, why we called certain things in matches. And he like really took an interest in the like the psychology of a wrestling match.
So that's
And
where him and Jim probably come up with their channel.
yeah, like he used to make fun of me so much when I was like early on in wrestling, because I loved using the word gimmick. I'm gonna hit him with the gimmick, and then he's gonna hit me with the gimmick. The old wrestling.
Yeah.
Jargon.
Oh yeah. So what would he say when how would he make fun of you when you bring that topic up?
Like, dude, that word's so dumb. That word's so stupid. Like, why do you keep saying that? I'm like, and then now, like, that's he would talk all wrestling carny talk with me, and it was like, it was just funny,
Nice. It all turned a full circle. He wasn't making fun. He was actually talking like it. That's funny.
Yep. He turned into an instant carny wrestler guy.
So he was all, and the three of them in the car with you is like, it's like the Freebirds of comic books.
Yeah. They're just asking questions, and like I would tell them like wrestling stories, and then it got to the point where my brother ended up meeting some pretty important people in WWE, and next thing you know, we're going to SmackDown and pay-per-views, and we're there hanging out with people, and it's just like, man, like I couldn't make it to WWE, but here my brother makes one phone call, and here we are sitting front row in Youngstown.
Hey, that's the power of being a comic book writer and artist.
Yeah, yeah, but I met somebody I consider a pretty good friend now through all this. Jason Ayers, SmackDown referee, NXT producer. Like, he's a great guy. He's been very very instrumental in a lot of things, and been an important shoulder to lean on when I need to. So I'm very grateful for the friendships that I have met during this period of my life.
And he give you any tips on reffing? Because no offense, you are one of the best referees around.
I appreciate that. I'm still learning, just like everybody else.
Well, you're very humble, but you know what I mean. But you are, and you bring your A game every time I see you.
I try my best, and I have big shoes to fill. The Piskor name, I've always kept it. I've never worked under my real name because I've always wanted to make it on my own. I never wanted to use my brother's name as a launch pad. So, like, believe it or not, a lot of people had no idea that me and Ed were brothers.
I didn't,
because I always kept my wrestling name different from my real name because of just that. I didn't want that to be the reason for me catching a break. So I did it my way.
Yeah, you both did. You both did it your way.
Yep.
And you're both.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm proud of all the work that I've done in wrestling. I've worked hard for the opportunities. I'll go out on a limb and say I never had a kiss ass for an opportunity. I just worked hard, and I did it the best way that I possibly could. So
dope. And you can take that to the bank. And I can vouch for what you just said, because I believe what you said, and I've seen you in action. So
thank you.
No, thank you. So did he ever finish the book? The comic book with or maybe got a couple sheets of it?
So I have 3 pages that I have in my possession.
Oh man.
And
okay.
The story never really got finalized. He put it down a lot of times because that's when he started writing X-Men, and it was like one of those, like, in his free time, maybe
he had to be focused on the Marvel stuff because they probably had an itinerary and a deadline where he probably had to do stuff, but he did it his own way. He did that X-Men Grand Design his own way. They didn't tell him how to do it. So that's huge too. Marvel tells everybody how to do their stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, my brother does everything his own way. And it started out as a tweet, ironically enough. he drew an image of the generations of X-Men and sent out a tweet that says, "Wouldn't this be cool if dot 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 dot?" And next thing you know, he's getting messages from Marvel. "Hey, let's talk. Let's talk." And that's how this all came to be.
Wow. Sometimes being daring actually proves something,
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely was very ballsy, and
well, that's what it takes, because your brother, from the stories you're saying, being ballsy got him to where he is revered and admired in the comic book community.
It's one of the things that I teach my students is being confident is sometimes more important. You may not be the best at doing something, but being confident in what you are good at, that'll get you noticed. And that's exactly what he did. He was confident in his ability, that he did that, and next thing you know, he lands a contract with X-Men.
That's huge.
And I mean, he's the first person to have ever drawn, inked, lettered, colored the entire
book by himself.
That's the whole series.
Yeah, that accomplishment is never done in Marvel. Marvel does not do that.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh, that's true.
That's right.
That's very true. Is that a t-shirt slogan right there?
That's my wife.
Oh, okay. Well, then she knows t-shirts then.
Yes, she does. Wonder which.
Oh. And you also do a little bit of photography too. Now you guys are branching out to a lot of stuff.
I'm just, you know what? I'm trying to have fun. Life is too short to stress. You just got to go out there and get outside of your comfort zone. The pandemic really messed up a lot of people.
It did.
And you know what? Like, my confidence level dropped so much that between therapy and finding something that I'm passionate about really helped bring out my confidence. And I really feel so much better.
Wow. Because
all things considered,
I always, as long as I've known you, as long as I've seen you, I would never know that you had that issue, because you always portrayed yourself as very knowledgeable and confident on your abilities and what you did when you performed.
I appreciate that. I've suffered a lot of blows in my life, and it takes a toll on a human when they go through so much trauma. Mm-hmm. I'll be very candid. Like, this Saturday will be 17 years since my trainer passed away. So
I understand.
And that was one of the biggest blows personally and professionally for me. And because of the circumstances behind his passing, like, it really affected me in more ways than I could really express. And it took a long time for me to actually seek out like professional help to like guide me through my trauma, my feelings. And the pandemic allowed me to write, and that's when I published the couple of books that I published. The memoirs on Devil, the memoirs on JT Lightning. I did one on
I bought. Yep. Very good stuff.
And you know what? It's just I found that the creative side of me came out in the pandemic, and like I really fell in love with the artsy side of myself, doing photography, planning events, and doing the graphic design. Like, it's been so much fun and kind of relaxing. I have a stressful job. Wrestling is stressful, promoting is stressful, booking is stressful, training is stressful. So I need to have something that isn't stressful. And that's my relaxation is grabbing my camera and just taking pictures.
And you took your pictures that you took on my first show back was it seems like you've been doing it for decades. Like,
thank you.
I mean, the Collier EC3 picture was like Godzilla and King Kong, and that's a picture that you truly want. I think everybody took that picture because it was so awesome. You know,
so
and if you just got into doing photography and you don't have a lot of years on it, to me, you seem like you've been doing it all your life.
Thank you. I guess I can say I have the eye for it, because I look at things not as like what I want to see is just a photo. Like I want to see it as like a production. So that's why I try to like kind of put it in an angle that looks cool and more menacing, especially with wrestling. But I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying it. There's going to be so much more coming out of this. I'm going to be doing some more candid photos for some other stuff coming up here soon. So we'll see.
Wow,
be on the lookout.
You're actually Comic Book Con promoter now. I mean, and that's the whole family is. Do they have different jobs and different roles for this event in August?
Yeah. So we're kind of like we're all putting our collective minds together to help put this on. So like nobody's specifically in charge. We're doing this as a family. Realistically, my mom's in charge of everything. Like. My mom's
you got to say that, right?
It's the honest to God's truth. My mom is the boss, and whatever she says goes. So, because I've had the promoting experience, like I've taken lead as far as like putting myself out there to like do what I know best, how to organize an event, how to get it on the socials, how to get it promoted, how to book the talent, and organize all that.
She said it's true.
It is. Ask my dad.
So when you guys decided to do this event and you guys all put your collective brain trust together, how long did did everybody, the artists, get a hold of you and say, hey, we want to do this, or you get a hold of them and you were booking guys and people like that, and you booked the venue quickly and it just started snowballing into what we have going on August 24th?
Yeah, so the first thing that I did was I booked the venue. It's close to our house, and I've been inside this venue before. We've had a lot of family weddings and stuff in there, so like I know the space was a decent size. I also didn't want to book a venue that was going to be too big, because you know how it is in the wrestling business. Sometimes you book a venue because you're like, man, I'm going to sell this out. It's going to be the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of, you get in over your head.
Yep, you're looking around, you're drowning.
You have people that are dressed up like chairs.
Yeah. That's a good way of saying it. Yeah.
So I said, you know what, let's start small, because I don't want to give the expectation that this isn't going to be the San Diego Con. This isn't going to be Steel City Con. This is going to be different. This is going to be an underground, like Eddie Piskor style convention, right? We're going to have some underground artists. We're going to keep it kind of like relaxed. We'll have some cool stuff happening at the event. Like one of the big things that we discussed as a family is, sometimes like when you do these conventions, the parents drag the kids around and there's not much for the kids to do.
You know what? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So we are going to do something that I think is going to be really cool. And this is some breaking news. I'll share it here first.
Cool. Well, thank you.
But we're going to have a coloring contest for the kids. We're going to have some of my brother's art made into coloring pages. So we'll have some coloring contests for the kids.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Why not include the kids in something? Like you want kids, like art in school is like a terrible thing right now. Like a lot of schools cut out their art programs because they just can't afford it. And there's a lot of talented artists in kids, and they don't have the platform to have fun with it. My nephew is a fantastic artist. Like this kid is so good. Every year for Christmas, my wife and I, we always spoil him with art supplies, because like we want to encourage the younger generation. If they have the talent, run with it. The sky's the limits. In this day and age, with all this technology, you can mass produce your own comics, your own art so quickly. And you can quit your full-time job and do this full-time if you really wanted to.
Did your brother go and do any of that with like the computer technology of doing books, or he just did it the old-fashioned way?
So I taught him how to use Adobe Photoshop early on. And I know he used to color a lot in Photoshop. So like
Okay.
As time went on, like, yeah, he utilized,
Oh, okay.
scanning
Good,
and
good.
coloring and stuff on there. But like in the past, like, I mean, he had all kinds of different methods of coloring his pages and stuff. And, we have a lot of his art here that he colored or painted, and there's so much that he did.
Wow.
And
Okay, that's awesome. You got the kids. You got the
Mhm.
kid. That's unheard. And I go to conventions, and honestly, I'm trying to get down there. Get down there. If I can get down there for an hour, because I got something going on. If I can get down there for an hour and a half, I'm coming, because I want to, because I respected your brother, because I'm in the comic book world. So
For sure.
and I know how hard it would be to do a Comicon, because I wanted to do one in Indiana, and I can imagine you guys had it. You got it so quickly. Like, how long did it take you to get everything all finalized and out there to promote?
So we have this thing called OCD in our family, where we just start going.
Okay.
Once you start planning, we obsess over it, and we just hammer out everything we can all at once. So immediately, I met with the venue. They gave me the green light. They had to go through like a board, because it's a fire hall and everything like that. So then the board,
but they already knew you. So realistically, the vote in the fire hall is going to be, let's get it going.
Especially when I proposed it the way that I proposed it, that benefits them too. So it's like,
sure,
it's not about us making money. Like, it's about getting the message out there. Make more comics, read more comics.
Sure.
So this benefits them. I mean, they're getting the money for tables, because it costs money to have tables, right? So it's like they're getting money for concessions. I mean, it's important for them to make something to fundraise for projects that they're working on too. So it's a community event. You want to help those that help you. So thanks to them helping us, we're helping them too. And I think it's going to be fantastic. But from there, immediately, put out feelers that, hey, this is what we want to do. And the next thing you know, we were just getting messages left and right.
So the comic book world just said, hey, look, we're coming.
They unleashed like you would not believe. And, within days we had like 40 tables sold.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Yeah. And then it was like, well, we haven't even like hooked in anybody as like a headliner, like, but then it was a no-brainer. Tom and Jim, again, I knew that they would jump at an opportunity to table at an event like this. And again, their respect for my brother, our family, our respect for them, as a peer to my brother, it was only important that they were our guests for this evening. And then I had to make a phone call to one of my old pals from Bitters, Arkansas, Henry Godwin, to have some wrestling touch to it, because I can't have an event without having some wrestling involved.
Well, I don't blame you there, because comic books and wrestling, they go hand in hand.
They do.
People don't understand that, but I do, you do, your brother does, Jim does, and a lot of other people in the business that we know do too.
Yep.
But I have a question. I have a question for you. I don't know, but from Jay Brosh, this question for you was, what was your favorite storyline in comics right now?
My favorite stories in comics?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not much of a reader. Believe it or not, I have a hard time focusing to actually sit down and read. I have taken some steps to like read comics. I just finished reading X-Men Grand Design, so that's been my last read. There was a comic that I bought at the comic book store that my brother frequented, where we hosted our first event. It was called Power Bomb. It's very cool, very interesting story. It was published through Image Comics, but
okay,
yeah, it was a really fun one. I highly recommend.
There you go, Jay. He answered your question, so we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So you got some big artists coming in. You got Henry Godwin coming in.
Yep.
You got exciting stuff for the kids, which they don't do because Comic-Cons, the kids are always 3 feet behind the adults, and grabbing a pretzel or something, and they're not really there. And realistically, there's never anything for the kids to do anyway. Unless they're looking at toys or whatever. And you guys got, I'm sure, comic books, people, comic books going to be sold, all kind of stuff that goes at cons.
Yeah. So we got, we have a couple of toy vendors that will be there too. So in town where we live, there's a toy store called Too Groovy, and they would host a toy con twice a year in town. And that was one of my brother and I, no matter what, we always met up there, and I'd bring my kid and we'd walk around and we'd check out some nostalgia. Again, I'm collecting my wrestling figures still to this day, so looking for some of the rare ones that I could possibly add to my collection. So,
so what are you looking for? Put it out there. Maybe people will see at the next show and they'll be coming up with totes and like, here you go, Potter.
Yep. Any Hasbro or LJNs? How about that? But yeah, so Too Groovy, they're going to be vending at our event, and I'm really excited for that because Bob's his name. He's a great guy. He let me pick his brain for about an hour one night because I went to him
to get concept on how to do one of these cons because running a wrestling show.
They are. So yeah, I wanted to talk to him because my brother had a lot of respect for him. A cool little fun fact for you. He would lend my brother some X-Men toys periodically to draw from. So he used some of those as reference material for X-Men Grand Design. So
I was thinking that right now.
Yeah.
Wow. I got some of Princess Jade is in the house.
Oh.
And Amanda.
Oh.
The Hornack sisters are in the house. Guys, thanks for tuning in.
Yes,
and Marcus D'Angelo is in the house.
Uh-oh. He didn't get enough last night.
I know. I was listening to his one show where he was asking Jake about his wrestling boots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to get some tips off Jake on what kind of boots to have.
Well, there's a secret project in the works with Mr. Marcus, and I will say this: he is a fast learner, and I'm very excited about his future, and I'm very proud to say that I'm working really hard on this one. I think the world's going to be very excited.
Well, I was excited when I had him on, and he told me that, and I was like, well, so I know he's listening. So when you're ready, you got a place to be booked.
Yeah, so, it's gonna be fun. It'll be well worth it.
His podcasts are great.
Oh, fantastic!
I mean, him and his brother, they do great stuff. Like both, I mean, him and Dominic, just guys from the Western Pennsylvania area, from the DuBois area, just making it big and working their tail off. I was going to say another word, but working their tail off.
That's right.
And then he's training, and then he's running 4 shows. He got a new network on. So I mean, hammer down.
That's the whole idea is just when you feel like you're not working hard enough, you work harder. And that's exactly what they're doing. And you know what? They're taking over the world. So
yeah,
much respect.
Because I want to work for my childhood idol, Triple B, anytime. Okay. Whenever your trainer says you're ready, I'll be in touch. I see something that you probably already see, both of you. And I know something's in the works. I just know because I know the wrestling business and I know what you guys are going to do. I just know it. And you're going to beat me to the punch. And I just know it.
You just never know.
I know.
What's going to happen.
So that's So I appreciate you guys all tuning in, and hopefully everybody that's tuning in that knows Potter is available that day to come down and see this first time ever. It's what time does it start?
So we're gonna run from 12 to 6.
Okay,
is our allotted time.
12 to 6. That's plenty of time.
Yeah.
Is it it's just a 1-day event this year?
We're testing the waters with it. Like I said, we're starting small, seeing like how well this goes, see what the reaction is to this, and
you're getting a lot. You're getting a lot of good reaction though. It's
absolutely, it's been super positive. And that's again, this is what this is all about, is just being positive, being nice to each other and like spreading the message. Let's
Did you guys have any interaction with the anybody from the Steel City Con people actually like, hey, no,
nothing.
They don't want to help.
I mean, to be
honest, rival companies, maybe.
Yeah, different territory.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't have the budget to even compete with something like that.
No, but you know what? They have the budget, and they could do like, hey, Bobby, let's do something, or let's do something. Maybe in Steel City Con 2, maybe later, do something. It could be done. And I don't know who all listens to this. It's not like I'm some kind of guru or nothing. But I mean, your brother was is a comic book icon. Okay.
Yep.
And in Pittsburgh, the city of champions, we don't have many. We have a few, and the comic book people that we have, they're all friends.
Right.
They all hang out. They're all going to be there August 24th. So
that's right. Here's the difference in wrestling and comic. This is the one thing that's a big takeaway, is all the wrestlers are friends, right? We're all
really?
Most of the times, until the bell rings, and then all bets are off.
Yeah.
And it's the promotions that don't get along, right?
You're right. I try. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But
yeah, it's all the promoters.
But in the comic book world, it's different.
Yeah,
everybody gets along.
Together. Yeah, you have to, because you have to lean on each other to help each other out. And like, I wish more people would take that approach, work together. It makes things so much easier. It really does. Yeah. And it does. To be honest, like, maybe I didn't reach out to enough people to get that kind of support in promoting this, but like, I'm doing so much all at once. My sisters, we're all doing so much all at once. And it's like, we're learning. We're not saying we're professionals or anything like that,
right.
But what we're doing is we're going to run a wholesome event for a positive message. And it's only going to get bigger from here.
If everybody that's listening shares it, and if everybody listens to this show shares it, you know what I mean? And just people share stuff. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even know that your brother did. Like I had it written down where he actually did stuff for a cartoon, Adult Swim.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Ironically enough, the Mongo Wrestling Alliance.
Yes.
And that was awesome, because like I did a lot of posing for him, and he would take photos of me in various like wrestling poses. And like, because I wrestled under a mask, I had a couple of different mask styles. So like he would use those as reference to like, you don't really pay attention to the back of a wrestler's mask to see what, like, how they lace them up. So like, his attention to detail, how much does somebody take their wrist up? Like what's the meaning behind it? Like all this different stuff. And it's like, a lot of people don't know that, but like I did assist in a couple little things that he did, and especially with the wrestling stuff, because I like to believe that I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Well, I think you do. I mean, I think you do. Somebody here on asking me a question, I think. So let me see here. I don't know. But yeah, but you know what you're talking about. And doing this is not, okay, that's something else. I thought it was something about this. I'll get back to him. But so it's 12 to 6. Now how much does it cost to get in?
So we're only charging $5 admission fee. That's
what?
It. That's it.
Oh
only
my
$5.
God.
Yep, $5. Yep.
There's no Comicon that you can go for $5 anywhere.
Yep.
Maybe in 1984.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, right there just proves that you're doing it for the positive message, not for the cashola.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's just being around this community has been just super great. Everybody's been super supportive. So it's like, I want to be able to hang out with them and like help. Maybe this helps one of the young artists meet somebody that gives them that spark that they need to get motivated into success. I mean, that's what this is about, right? Let's
Well, it's
help others.
the positive message that you're bringing up, and hopefully people, the younger people, they can strive to overcome the adversities of life without getting too. I don't want to get too preachy, but I mean, everybody has issues, and people shouldn't. Not that I'm a tough guy or anything. People shouldn't try to be tough on people in a negative kind of way. Let's put it that way.
Right,
That's all I'm going to
exactly.
say about that. And
Yeah, no,
hopefully you can inspire the next generation of comic book artists and writers and stuff like that through this con. And I believe you guys will be doing it. I think you guys will be very successful because I have that feeling, and it's going to be, and it's going to probably be a yearly thing.
that's I would like to make it a yearly thing for sure.
Okay.
As long as the support's there and there's enough air in my lungs, I will do everything in my power to make sure that we do this yearly.
And is there any other events that you guys are thinking of, that you guys have something small or big? Not as big as the con, but is there other stuff? Because I know the Instagram is huge. I mean,
yeah, my sister's doing a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, she is.
She's taken this one and she's ran with it, and like, especially with the drop today of the Q&A panel from Heroes, the amount of traffic that's hit that Instagram page.
I was watching it. It was 6,000. I think it quadrupled.
Yeah, last I looked, it was like 13,000.
Yeah. So I mean, even
amazing,
and even the cartoonist kayfabe channel has 1.9 thousand videos. I'm guessing 1.9, 94.1 subscribers, close to 100,000.
Yeah.
And that's insane. Is Jim still gonna keep that going?
Yep, everything's still going.
Okay, yep. So okay. I mean, and I've watched it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
it's pretty wild.
That's a lot of stuff, man.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. That's all. Like,
you guys ever sleep?
No, I don't. A couple hours here, a couple hours there.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's constant grinding. When
well, I mean, but do you have any more to do for the 24th, or you guys all ready to go, and then just everything's all set up? Everybody's ready to go, and
so we're almost to that point where I
got to get a hotel room.
Yeah. No worries. No
I know.
No pressure.
I know. No. It's okay.
Yeah, no, we got everything's pretty much sorted out, ready to go. We're in crunch time. Literally before I left to come over today, I got my UPS package of all of our posters came in the mail, so I'm going to be hitting the ground and distributing the flyers. And
so where are you going to distribute all these flyers?
Everywhere. I'm going as far as I can go, hitting all the comic stores, all the businesses around town. I'll be handing out flyers until there's none left. I got a lot of them, so come find me, help me out.
There you go, people.
Willing to come and help would be much appreciated. We'll get this thing going.
Now, can you guys like look up all the comic book stores and send them the poster and see if they can, you know what I mean? Because it might save you a little bit of time, because there's a lot of comic book stores in the Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, I personally I'm gonna drive out to a lot of them around me, just because I want to I like doing business face to face.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm all for it. I'm going to get out there and, for me, for my own mental health, just be able to talk about things out loud. And I just want to do that. I think that,
well, and the thing is though, when you're talking to somebody and they see the genuine love and sincerity that you're portraying, people will hey, poster. What else do you need? That's that's how it goes.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
and you're a straight shooter anyway. So I mean,
Absolutely.
that's just how it goes.
Yep. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. That's for sure.
That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So 12 to 6,
12 to
August
6,
24th.
August 24th, $5 admission, kids 12 and under, free. Coloring contest for the kids. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh, there you go. See, people know you're a great ref.
Hey, I'm a professional counter. How about that? I can count to 3 perfect, and I can count to 10 sometimes.
Well, I wish I could count, but I have too many concussions lately. But Potter, it's been such an honor. Anything I can do for this situation, I'm whatever I can do. I'm going to try to make it. I'm going to try.
Hey, you had obligations, so I completely understand.
It's just the way it is, but still.
It's crazy how everybody has things going on. It's like you're confined to only certain amounts of days to run certain events, and but it worked out perfect. We were able to still work together without being able to appear, at the same event. So
right.
I'm glad that we can work together, and I can supply Henry Godwin to you, and
I appreciate it.
He'll enjoy himself up there for sure. It's going to be a fun experience. Henry was very gracious right at the end of the pandemic when we were allowed to start doing some in-person wrestling events. I reached out to him and made contact and had him come in for IWC. And from there, it was like I built a friendship, over that period of time. During the pandemic, my father-in-law passed away from COVID, and
okay.
Godwin reached out almost every day, checking in on my wife to make sure that she was okay. If there's anything that she needed, he was right there. It was just the support and the love that this man has shown me has been fantastic. So I felt like, for me on a personal level,
he was the person you had to contact to have the wrestling connection to your show.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? There's no better person than to reach out to him, because he's just such a stand-up guy. And right now, I don't want to say that I helped revitalize his love for wrestling again, but he went from just appearing in some small stuff to now he's back on the road. He's grinding crazy again. And it's I see him popping up and he's just loving life. And I'm like, man, this is just so cool. To see you back on the saddle again, doing some matches here and there, doing these autograph signings. He's got toys coming out. It's so awesome. He told me he's really excited to come back to the area, and he's looking forward to meeting everybody. And I hope everybody's looking forward to meeting him too, because he's just such a genuinely good person. And I love
awesome.
talking.
And I appreciate what you did for me, and I'm glad I could, we could help each other out in that
Absolutely.
way. So, but Matt says, do you know this comic book gentleman here, Colin McMahon?
I'm not familiar, but to be honest, over the last couple of months, I've met so many people and I've made contact with so many people that it's entirely possible that I may have stumbled across him.
Oh, there you go. The brothers of wrestling and comics.
Yeah.
Always be synonymous with that.
Absolutely.
You and your brother.
Yeah.
Wrestling and comics.
That's it. I mean, I can remember my brother coming to shows, and him and his buddy would just heckle me all night. And I would do my best to keep a poker face and try to no sell them as much as I could. But sometimes it was so hard not to crack up from some of their comments that they would make. I want to keep everything PG because I know I have family listening. And
right. Yeah, I don't want to go explicit, but sometimes we do on this channel. We do. And this is Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. Larry Stryker. Thanks, Larry. That's much appreciated. Larry's my media guy in the APWF. So
awesome. Very cool.
He loves wrestling, and he he doesn't know much about movies, but he loves wrestling. So.
Hey, I love wrestling too. I could talk about wrestling all day long.
So once again, Potter, thank you so much for coming on, sharing these stories, telling people about this event. Everybody, August 24th, I have the there it is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And also
that's
right there.
That's going to be the commemorative T-shirt design. My wife designed that. So if you
designed this,
she did. Yep, my wife drew it, designed it. It's fantastic.
So your wife is an artist too?
Oh yeah. My wife, she's designed all these T-shirts. She's been killing it. Yeah. She's.
I know. I've seen the stuff, but wow.
Yep. She's very talented. Very proud of her. She's working hard.
Wow, it must run.
The grind never stops. Yeah, the grind never stops.
I guess not. No, that's great. Wow, that's great. I didn't know she was an artist. I know she owns her own business.
Yep, she designs all of her T-shirts.
Every single T-shirt she does, she designs her own shirts.
Everything. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Hats off to you, Mrs. Potter. Hats off. Wow, I thought it was just this. She was buying, shirts at other places and using it as a store.
Nope. That's all her work.
How does she? I know I'm getting off the tangent, but how does she have a system at the house where she does all this silk screening, or how?
She draws everything. She has a printer that prints everything and ships out internationally.
What's the name of her store again?
Wonder Witch Boutique. Yeah, look her up on Instagram, wonderwitchboutique.com. Yeah, she's killing it. I'm very proud of her. She sells in Salem, Massachusetts, Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. She's all over.
I guess that's when you guys will sleep, I guess.
That's right.
Wow, you guys are the husband and wife, hard working.
Yep.
That's amazing. Hats off to you of making these T-shirts. I did not know, because I've seen some of them shirts and I'm like, it looks like band shirts, like hardcore band shirts, back in the day, like classic concert
literature.
shirts.
Yep, classic literature, mythology, re-envisioned into band tees. I'm telling you, it's such a thing, and you wouldn't believe the amount of people that have become collectors, not just customers, collectors. Like, they're waiting for the next launch, and again, can't be any more proud of her.
How long has her business been open?
Pandemic, when she did this as a on a whim. Like, when it was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if made a TikTok?
What if? Oh,
made a TikTok that went viral, and next thing you know, she's quitting her job, and here we are, full time. She's working for herself.
God bless America. I can't. I do all these podcasts. I get like, whatever, and I do TikTok. I get 15 people.
Oh yeah, brother.
Wow, you guys are creative. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. I mean, so like I said,
it's the thing. I got big shoes to fill. It's when you feel like you're not working hard enough, you keep working harder. So that's just don't stop.
Well, he's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just I want to thank you, Potter, for coming on. And anytime you have anything to promote or something, you can come on. And I know we can talk wrestling for hours, and maybe we'll have to bring you back on. And I'm glad I have this format to actually in a good way. You know what I mean? It was good. So I appreciate the stories that you told me, and
I appreciate
all that stuff. So it was very, very good. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're not doing anything August 24th, go to the Eddie P Comicon, 12 to 6. You'll see great artists. You'll see Henry Godwin. You can buy some Eddie P merchandise that's there. And if you are a collector of his comics, there's going to be a comic book. And if it's not there, it might be there, but there aren't too many issues there. So it's a limited edition.
Yeah, we'll see what's left. That's for sure.
Yeah. So everybody, I'll have everything. I'm going to get everything linked down. And I'm going to keep sharing it on my social media up the whole way up to that day. So And
I appreciate you, Bubba.
No, well, I appreciate you too, and I'm going to try. I told my wife, I said I'm going. She's like, oh, gee. So I get down about, I already timed. It's only an hour and like something from my house, so.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, I can fly and fly back and be quick.
I think I might know a couple of people that might let you go through a couple of red lights.
Oh, okay. Is there any way to order 4X?
Send us a message on the Instagram, and we'll see what we can do.
There you go, Matt. You ask and you will get your answer. I don't know nothing about 4X. So, yeah. So, like I said, Potter, thank you for coming on the Triple B Experience. Everybody, the EDP Comicon, August 24th at 12 p.m. Be there. It's going to be the Comicons of all in Pittsburgh, and it's going to be hopefully starting a trend.
I hope so. But again, thank you, Bubba, for coming on and let me talk with you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Share the message of positivity.
And what does your brothers say and Jim say on their show?
Got your marching orders. Let's read more comics and make more comics.
That's a t-shirt design right there, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Potter, so much.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
Thank you, and have a great night.